Hello, my name is Dylan Blackburn.
And my name is Sarah Page, and we're here today with the Blackburn and Page Strategic Consulting Group.
We're here to consult Allergan CEO Brent Saunders and the senior staff of Allergan on our recommended next steps for their drug, Restasis. So first, for some background on the case. Restasis is an eye drop used to treat chronic dry eye. Now, the patent for Restasis was meant to expire in 2014, but in 2013, Allergan sought and gained a 10-year extension on that patent. Now, between that time and 2011, the America Invents Act made some significant changes to the patent system in America, including creating the Inter Partes Review Process, or IPR. The IPR process is a faster, cheaper way to challenge patents, and it requires a lower standard than in federal court.
And this leads to the St. Regis Mohawk Tribe deal. In this deal, the St. Regis Tribe assumed ownership of the patent and also some money. In return, Allergan received the sovereign immunity rights of the tribe, which prevented them from being charged in both the IPR court as well as in the federal courts. However, this did not stop them from being charged in the federal court. Recently, in the Federal District Court of the Eastern District of Texas, the suit was brought against them by Mylon, Teva, and Acorn, and they lost the suit, and the patent was invalidated. Now they have to decide whether or not they want to proceed with the appeals process or find a new road for Restasis.
So now to talk about the ethics of this case. So we like to base our ethical value criterion on conscious capitalism, which embraces the idea of markets espoused by Adam Smith, the founder of modern capitalism. Smith believed that markets were more of social institutions, and he took a broader view, that they weren't merely focused on maximizing shareholder value. In other words, firms in the Smithian view have a purpose beyond profit, and we submit this as especially true for companies like Allergan, because our customers, rather our patients, depend on us not only for their wants, but to meet their basic healthcare needs. Now, Allergan has previously committed to this sort of ideology. In a social contract with patients, Allergan says, we commit to making these branded therapeutic treatments accessible and affordable to patients. It's clear in our view that this move is meant to allow Allergan to charge a price that is higher than socially optimal. So we say that Allergan has actually broken its own social contract with this deal.
Now let's examine some of the stakeholders. And luckily, the conscious capitalist model offers us a framework with which to study the ethical ramifications of this case. Now, the first stakeholder we're going to study is their patients, or the consumers. The rising price of Restasis has a deep impact on consumers as it doesn't exist in a vacuum. As we can see with this chart, in 2008 it started off as $125 per 30-dose pack, and all the way up into 2017, which is just a 9-year difference, it skyrocketed to $275 per 30-dose pack. Now, this is the average wholesale price, so the price for consumers is significantly higher, and that has a real result on people, as we'll see with Joseph Landy. So Joseph Landy is a retired police officer, and he states that he has to spend at least $1,000 for Restasis this year. That means he can't spend money on other drugs that he needs. If Restasis and Allergan were actually attempting to fulfill their social contract, they would not be forcing people like Joseph to be making decisions like this.
Next, we'd like to examine this using the concept of monopoly power. So with patents, we grant legal monopolies temporarily to certain firms because the lure of monopoly profits is socially beneficial, but only temporarily. So, of course, monopoly profits encourages innovation and encourages discoveries, but before long, the benefits to society of having cheaper drugs begins to overpower the benefits of more innovation and discovery. So we submit that this move by Allergan is essentially prolonging the legal monopoly given to them by patent on Restasis. So what if we take a step back and say, what if this is fair? What if Allergan is merely taking the profit that is deserved? Maybe it worked a lot harder to get Allergan as a drug. Well, the average cost of bringing a drug to market is $2.6 billion. But Allergan has already made $8.8 billion off of this drug. And don't take us wrong, we're not saying that profit in and of itself is unethical. But we're just saying that the notion that Allergan is somehow acting fairly is just not true.
Now let's examine the ethical concept of rent-seeking. Rent-seeking is when an entity, in this case a pharmaceutical company, exerts resources in order to transfer wealth from others onto itself. It creates no social value and therefore creates losses for society. Now, this creates a system where there is no incentive for creating social value like there is in a normal market setting. Instead, it creates an incentive for people to game the system. So it's better for you to know how to transfer wealth than to actually create it. Now, we submit that Allergan should focus on actually creating social value rather than just transferring wealth.
Now to take a financial view. We've said that Allergan is essentially here with this move, accepting value for itself without actually creating it. And it's clear that there's a lot of costs, especially in terms of our relationships with stakeholders for this move. Now, we say that the deal with the Mohawk tribe is clearly focused only on the short-term life of Allergan. And it's been shown several times that companies who make decisions based on the long-term life have been more successful, both in terms of earnings, revenues, and increased market capitalization. Now, as the CEO and senior staff of Allergan, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, not only for the short-term life of Allergan, but for the long term.
Now let's examine a second stakeholder that we haven't examined yet. And this one stands the most to lose by this deal. Not only just the St. Regis Mohawk tribe, but all Native American tribes. Now, only the United States Congress has the sovereign power to remove the sovereign immunity of the Native American tribes. However, before this, they've made no steps to do this. However, once this deal has taken place, they have proposed deals, made actions, made speeches against this deal, even proposing bills to state that we should alter the sovereign immunity of the Native American tribes in regards to intellectual property. We don't want to be the company that leaves the legacy of being the impetus of the erosion of these well-deserved, well-earned sovereign immunity rights from Native American tribes.
So our recommendations, recognizing that this is a short-term view for the life of Allergan, is to put Allergan back on the right track in a more long-term vision. This includes a new commitment to its own stated values.
Now, our first recommendation involves research and development. We believe that Allergan should halt all litigation involving Restasis and just accept the fact that it has been invalidated. We believe they should continue to invest money in research on either Restasis or other drugs. If they're able to improve Restasis enough to get a new patent that is ethically acquired because they have created value by creating a better drug, then that improves their profitability. Now let's continue on to our second recommendation. This involves new markets. So Restasis has a problem. They were not approved due to efficacy in several areas, including Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, if they were able to expand into these new markets by creating a more effective drug, then they could improve their market share and improve their profitability.
So, Allergan should just commit to the stated values that it already has of conscious capitalism. And by taking the long-term approach, we recognize that in most cases, it seems that good business and good ethics are mutually exclusive. But in this case, they're not. We look at the long term. Thank you, everyone.